welcome to Hope Church Online. My name is Nina, and I am one of the volunteers here at Hope Church.
Good morning, Nina, and good morning to everyone online. My name is Katie, and I'm also a Hope Church volunteer. We're so glad you're here, whether it's your first time with us or if you've been hanging out with us for a while. You all make our Sundays so great here at Hope.
Absolutely, Katie. We also need to give a virtual wave to Jessica. She is serving as your chat host this morning. Every week when we go live, we have a chat host to serve all of you. They are there to answer any questions that you have and send links to any next steps that you might need. Katie, isn't it amazing how connected we are? Our online community is all over Wisconsin and even other parts of the world.
It sure is, Nina. That is what makes Hope online experience so cool. We know some of you are on a couch with your coffee, watching us on your TV, and others are traveling, watching us on your phone or your laptop. In fact, we'd love to hear where is church for you today. Let Jessica know in the chat. And I know my parents are in Illinois and they love to jump online and watch Hope when they're not here visiting in person. Hi, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, don't be shy. We'd love to connect with you. Katie, this is our first time hosting together, and we've already had a lot of great laughs and great conversation this morning. But I'm curious, what is something about you that not many people know?
That is a great question. I love getting to know everybody better here at Hope. Let's see. Well, I love dogs, and I have actually helped several rescue organizations throughout Wisconsin, and even when I lived in Florida, I have fostered 19 rescue dogs over the years. Not all at the same time.
That's a lot of, that would be a lot of dogs.
Yeah. It's a very rewarding but tough thing to do. But how about you, Nina? What's a fun fact?
Well, speaking of rewarding, I have fun fact about me is I have a little side hobby, making custom sugar cookies to help people celebrate the big and little things in life. It's been such an honor for me to be part of their special moments. And the very first special moment I ever made cookies for was actually our groundbreaking here at Hope. Made the cutest little construction cookies. And I think my boys really like this hobby too, as they can sometimes find leftover cookies hanging around the house.
I would love that.
Yes.
So now that we know each other a little better, that's the perfect segue, because last Sunday we started our 6-week series called Better. The goal of Better is to help us make 2024 better than last year. You might not have a New Year's resolution, but we know there's things you might want to do better, like your finances, get better with your health. We have 5 more weeks dedicated to helping your 2024 be better.
Yes. And last week, if you were not with us, we kicked off the series by getting our mindset around what makes something better. As Americans, we tend to think bigger is better. And I love the application. It was a simple slide that said, give my blank a better blank today. An example could be give my husband a better wife today, or give my kids a better mom today, give my neighbor a better neighbor today. Essentially, the idea of last week was just to start small, and that application, shifting our mindset, is a great way to start small.
I agree, Nina. And today we're going to hear from Hope's Groups Pastor, Zach, who is going to talk about how we're more connected than ever before, while at the same time, so many people feel like they're all alone.
Yep.
So today is about being a better friend.
Love that.
And with that, we also have some news about groups that are going to be starting up to help you take that next step. You don't want to miss out, and not to mention some great live music as usual.
Yes. Now, my favorite part about this series is not just the music or even the messages, but the resources. Our Hope staff has a page on our website. If you go to hopelakecountry.com, right in the top left corner of the navigation bar says Ready to Be Better. That page has resources, next steps, and so much more for all of us to use to help us make this year better than last.
And I know Jessica is going to put that link in the chat, and it's also down in the description for you all as well. And speaking of resources, there is another link that we want to point you out to, and that is hopelakecountry.com/Sunday, or you can scan the QR code here on your screen. If you're a frequent online Hoper, you're going to want to bookmark that website, because every week it's updated to serve you. It has the message notes, access to the Bible app. If you join us on Sunday, you can catch up on our podcast throughout the week, and there's links for the kids' resources for your little ones.
So much stuff. And for anyone who's new to our channel and interested in connecting with us later on this week, there are links there for you too. A link for the connection card. You can sign up for our weekly email, and you can find out what's going on with our social media channels and get links to all of those also.
And we are very active on social media. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, Reels, and YouTube Shorts. We hang out on Instagram Threads, on TikTok. Whatever your favorite platform is, we're easy to find. Just Hope Lake Country, find our logo with the H and the cross, and hit follow.
Now, if this is your first Sunday and you're not sure about connecting that with us, we get it. Relax, enjoy. But if you do want to subscribe and say, hey, I want to be here for, week after week, then hit that subscribe button. We'd love that. I think we're about ready to head inside. So let's kick it into the auditorium.
Well, welcome to Hope. Whether you're online or here in the room today, we're so glad that you're with us. Let's stand. We're going to get this going by singing together. Death has died. It's crushed by nail-pierced hands. When you say it's finished, life began. Overcome by grace, new mercy fell. And oh, the gates of hell could not prevail. Jesus, the King of the kingdom. Jesus, the author of freedom. Death has lost its seat to a conquered grave. And every day we wake to a conquered grave. And now you stand, the resurrected Christ. And all who come to you will be revived. A hope that can't be stopped, it can't be tamed. Our confidence is found in your great name. Jesus, the King of the kingdom. Jesus, the author of freedom. Death has lost its seat to a conquered grave. Jesus, the King of the kingdom. Jesus, the author of freedom. Every day we wait to a conquered grave. And who could stand against the Holy One? 'Cause even hell's defenses turn and run. And we will rise again and stand with him who's overcome the grave. You've overcome the Jesus, the King of the kingdom. Jesus, the author of freedom. Death has lost its seat to a conquered grave. Jesus, the King of the kingdom. Jesus, the author of freedom. Death has lost its seat to a conquered grave. Death has lost its seat to a conquered grave. Death has lost its seat to a conquered grave. Christ is my firm foundation, and the rock on which I stand when everything around me is shaking. Oh, I've never been more glad than I put my faith in Jesus. 'Cause he's never let me down. He's faithful through generations. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. I've still got joy in chaos. I've got peace that makes no sense. So I won't be going under. with me. Would you praise him for that? Woo. You guys can grab a seat.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Hope Church. My name is Josh. I'm a volunteer here and also one of the Hope Church elders.
My name is Casey. I serve as Hope's executive director and also as Josh's wife. This year, we are celebrating a big milestone in our marriage. We've been married for 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
our celebrating.
Thank you. Yeah, look at those two kids up there, happy and in love. I think it's pretty obvious when you look at those photos who married up in our relationship. But no, I think in 15 years in, we thought we'd have everything figured out in marriage by now. But one of the reasons that we did is because we had a great foundation to our marriage. I think we even thought that we'd work out our differences over our sports teams before now.
Well, there is one way we did that. At least we found the Milwaukee Bucks, so we can cheer for one team together. That's worth cheering for. Josh, I think you are right. I think back to 15 years ago, I think we were so ready for this step.
Yeah.
And in this time, we've learned a lot. We have a lot more to learn, but really having a foundation for our marriage to kick off from was so important.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why we believe at Hope Church that having a solid foundation for your marriage is so important, which is why we offer pre-marriage class here at Hope. And actually, pre-marriage class is coming up here very soon. It's a 6-week course that get your marriage or the marriage of someone that's important to you off on the right step.
Yeah, so we offer this once a year here at Hope. So if you are planning to tie the knot this year or next year, we really encourage you to sign up. This is also a great class to invite your friends, your kids, your grandkids, who you really care about and want to have a solid foundation as they're kicking off their marriage.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're interested in signing up, we've got 3 ways that you can do that. If you're here in the room, right in front of you on the seat back pocket, that's a QR code. Just scan that on your phone, and that'll take you to a website where you can sign up. Or if you'd like to sign up in the hub, that's the room to the left as you head out of the building today. Be a great day to just hang out here and sign up rather than get out into that cold. You can sign up in there. Or if you're joining us online virtually today, there'll be a link that's dropping down in the chat right now.
Thanks. We know that marriage can be such a stressful time, and here we believe that church should be helpful. Thank you to everybody that financially supports the mission of Hope that allows us to invest in the marriages of so many people. If you'd like to begin financially supporting Hope, you can do that by scanning the QR code in front of you, dropping an offering at the box on the way out, or if you're joining us online, you can click the link in the chat.
And now we are ready for part 2 of our sermon series, Better.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, good morning, Hope Church. It is so good to see you. Welcome to all of you joining us online. My name is Zach. I'm one of the pastors here on staff at Hope, and we are in week 2 of our series, Better, where we want this year to be better than the last. And so we're looking at different areas of life and how do we improve in those. And today, the topic that we're talking about, I don't think there's a more important one to discuss, and that is friendship. We are looking at better friendship and how to come into a place of better belonging. For many of us, friendship when we were kids was much easier than when we were adults. One of my favorite things to do with my family is to go camping. And I love it when we get to the campground, our kids just like jump out of the car and they start looking for other kids. To them, it doesn't matter what the kids look like, who their parents voted for, or how much money their family has. I mean, to them, what matters is their kids. It's like, hey, you're a kid, I'm a kid, we're both kids, let's play. But it seems like with each year we get older, friendship gets harder, especially creating newer connections. I mean, I don't get how we get from, looking for any kid to play with at the playground to not even wanting to make eye contact with the person we're sitting next to on the plane, right? I mean, we're like this close to them. We can see what they're watching. We can smell them, but we don't look at them and say, hey, you're an adult, I'm an adult, let's be friends, right? That would be weird. That would be awkward. I mean, what if they actually started talking to you? Yet, while many of us might act like we're allergic to meeting new people, the studies show that we value friendship greatly. Pew Research asked this question just a few months ago. They asked, what do you need for a fulfilling life? And a whopping 61% said that having close friendships is extremely or very important. In contrast, only 24% said that about having a lot of money. We know that we're better together. But if you look at studies, we see that many of us aren't experiencing deep, authentic friendship. We live in a time in society where we're more connected than ever due to the phone, due to social media, due to the internet, and those can be all great things. But some of us, we might have 1,000 friends on Facebook, but if your car breaks down, you need help shoveling your driveway, or you need a few dollars, you wouldn't know who to call. And if you do know who to call, maybe you would feel guilty about inconveniencing them. Studies show that our friendships in America right now are lacking. I saw a study the other day that said that Gen Z, 40% say they feel lonely 100% of the time. And they have 50% feel that no one is truly with them. And this loneliness, which is gripping our society, has tremendous impacts on all areas of life, including our physical health. I mean, here's just a few numbers of the physical health consequences of loneliness. If you're experiencing loneliness, you have a 29% increased risk of heart disease, you have a 32% increased risk of stroke, you have a 50% increased risk of developing dementia for older adults, and a 60% increased risk of premature death. And loneliness has the same impact on our mortality as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, the physical health consequences of loneliness is drastic. For those of us who wanted to, think about our physical health, we need to think about our connection to others the same way that we think about exercise and eating right and sleep. In fact, a few years ago, the Surgeon General of the United States called loneliness an epidemic in our society. And this is what he had to say, Dr. Murthy had to say. He said, our relationships are a source of healing and well-being hiding in plain sight, one that can help us live healthier, more fulfilled, and more productive lives. Given the significant health consequences of loneliness and isolation, we must prioritize building social connection the same way we have prioritized other critical public health issues such as tobacco, obesity, and substance use disorders. Together, we can build a country that's healthier, more resilient, less lonely, and more connected. So the Surgeon General, what he's saying pretty much is, we have some issues in society with loneliness, but we have the resources to tackle it and create better connection. So the Surgeon General, he created a 6-pillar system. He created an advisory team that created a 6-pillar system on how to tackle loneliness within our society, including, reforming digital environments and a few other things. But all of it hinders on this one pillar, which is cultivating a culture of connection. So in other words, creating spaces and being a people that have a culture for others to connect and for people to find deep and meaningful friendship. And this is what our society needs now more than ever. And I know there's some of us here and watching online who are probably saying, this is what I need now more than ever. And if that is you, I just want to encourage you, you are in the right place. There is no better place to find better friendship and a greater sense of belonging than the church. Not the bar, not your phone, not even on the airplane sitting next to that random person. It's here at the church, and it's due to how Jesus created the church. See, the early church, it was such a diverse group of people. It was made up of people who were slaves and those who were free, those who were rich and those who were poor, male and female, people of all different ages, socioeconomic status, and ethnic groups and racial groups. They all came together around the person of Jesus and found great belonging and friendship, and it changed the world. And it can be that same place for us today. But it won't happen just by tuning in on a Sunday or coming to church just on a Sunday. No, there's a few more steps to take. But thankfully, the scriptures are really clear on the practical steps that we need to take or that we can take to experience better friendship. And today we're going to be looking at the book of Romans. So the book of Romans was originally a letter. It's one of the most influential letters of all time, written roughly 2,000 years ago by a man named Paul to the church in Rome. And the last 3 chapters of the 16-chapter letter focus on what does it mean to be a community. And this is where we're going to pick up today in Romans chapter 12, verse 3. And so Paul says this. He says, "Do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment in accordance with the measure of faith God has given you." So what Paul is saying here first is know who you are. And what he's saying is be humble. Don't think higher of who you are. Don't think lower of yourself. Have a good understanding of who you are and what your value is. And for Paul, he would say that we understand our value by thinking critically about what God has to say about us, because we all have so many people, so many corporations that are trying to tell us who we really are. And for Paul, he wants the church of Rome to remember who God says you are. And I mean, if we just take a moment to think about what the scriptures have to say about who we are, I mean, it is just beautiful. I mean, God, says in the scripture that God thought about each and every one of us before the creation of the world. And the scriptures say that each and every one of us was fearfully and wonderfully made in our mother's womb. None of us is here by accident. The scriptures say that in the book of Ephesians that God has great works for each and every single one of us to step into. We each have great purpose to fulfill here on earth. And most importantly, we are loved. That God so loved the world, that he so loved us, that he sent Jesus to die in our place so we could have a reconciled relationship with God. We are loved. And so step 1, according to Paul, to experience greater belonging is this. It's to assess your full value. And the reason that is so important is because when we understand who we are to God, already we start to feel more connected to God, like we belong, like we're not a mistake. And it sets us up for what's next. Because Paul continues in Romans chapter 12. He says this. He says, just as each one of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ, we who are many form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. So Paul says the church is like a body, right? There's so many different people, so many different roles, but they're all one. Just like a body has a lot of different members, but it's all one body. And so we are all part of one body. So one of the most important questions then from that then is, what is our role? Because we need to understand what our role is if we are going to partake in this body. Right? And let me help you out a little bit. There's no passive roles. There's no spectator roles. Each person plays such an important role in the body. And not only do we play a role in it, but we belong to one another. And I know this language of belonging is so different for Americans or people from the West that focuses so much on the individual. I mean, some of the greatest mantras of our day are you do you, or be true to your heart, right? It all focuses on self and has very little understanding of belonging to someone else. But if we live those mantras, we see how they're really just half-truths at best, because if you're only living for yourself, you often find yourself more lonely, more isolated. Sure, you'll have some great experiences, and that's wonderful, but if you're doing that outside of community, it's not going to fulfill what you're actually going after. Now, Paul isn't saying we shouldn't develop ourselves or anything like that. In fact, this is what he says. So going on, he says, we all have different gifts according to the grace given to us. If a man's gift is prophesying, let him use it in proportion to his faith. If it is serving, let him serve. If it's teaching, let him teach. If it's encouraging, let him encourage. If it's contributing to the needs of others, let him give generously. If it's leadership, if it is leadership, let him govern diligently. If it's showing mercy, let him do it cheerfully. In other words, what Paul is saying is you do you, but do it in community. And the way in which you are going to grow in your gifting and the way in which we're going to grow in our role is by actually doing it. You know, just as a body grows through exercise, we grow through exercising our gifts. Like if you want to grow in prayer, you grow in prayer by praying. If you want to grow in generosity, you do that by giving your time and giving your finances. We grow by exercising our gifts. We should do ourselves in community. So step 2 to greater belonging is this. It's add your full value. First, you assess your value, and then you add your value in community. Because when you are adding your value in community, connected to other people who are adding their value in community, you experience better friendship as people are working alongside each other towards a greater purpose. It's a lot harder to feel lonely when you're doing stuff with other people that you know you could not do on your own. In other words, the big idea is this. It's belonging. It begins with you. It doesn't end with you because a relationship is obviously mutual, but it begins with you assessing your value and then adding your value into community. I have a friend, and he was pretty high up in the corporate world, but he left all that because he wanted a different job. And I just love his job title. I think job titles nowadays are way more creative than they were 50 years ago. But his job title is that of life architect. I'm like, I just think that sounds so cool. And what he does is he helps people just build their lives from the ground up. And he works with a lot of high-end clients. And what he finds constantly is people are still looking for community. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You were still created to be in community. And he made an observation about community building recently that I've just been thinking about. And he said, we are no longer a people that are co-creators of community. Instead, we've become subscribers to community. And, you know, if you're just consuming community, if you're just coming when it's convenient, like a subscription service, you're not going to experience the benefits of it. Because, I mean, a subscription service is one to be consumed. I know many of us, we have subscription services. One of my favorites when we moved to Wisconsin was we subscribed to milk delivery because I'm like, what's more Wisconsin than like getting milk delivered to my door? And I just really wanted to feel it all. But what I found out is when it's below zero, your milk in glass bottles blows up and then it freezes and then you have to unthaw it in order to get glass and clean the whole thing up. So if it ever gets below zero, we cancel it because it does not work for our life at all. And sadly, I think some of us have done that with community. Like, if it fits my schedule, I'll be there. If I have extra time, I will serve. If I have, a huge surplus of money, then I'll give. But when we subscribe to community, we're not going to experience community like if you are all in, when you're contributing to community. That's the way in which you experience the benefits of community. It's by being all in. And the amazing thing is when you are all into community, not only do you experience greater community, but you actually start creating. As you are adding your value along others adding their value in community, you are creating the community together. And it's such a beautiful place to be. And this is what Paul says, this is the type of community the church needs to aim towards to create. And he says this. He says, your love must be sincere. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love, and honor one another above yourselves. Paul's saying this is what the community needs to look like. And so just a few words on each. First, your love must be sincere. This word sincere here, it's not just like these sentimental feelings of love, sincere love. No, this is about an action. And the word sincere literally means unhypocritical. Right? It needs to be present. It needs to be real. It's not just a feeling. It needs to be one of integrity. Who we are in community is who we are at home. And then second, he says, hate what is evil and cling to what is good. And I know that's pretty strong language, hate. I know some of us don't even like to use that word. But for Paul, he has a pretty robust understanding of evil. He's not afraid of evil. He is just aware of evil. And he wants us to be aware that evil is always trying to kill, steal, and destroy. And anytime we see evil creeping up into community or within ourselves as we're creating community, we need to call it out because all it leads to is division, right? So when we see pride, popping up its ugly head, or greed, or anything like that within us or within the community, it is to be lovingly confronted in order for community to continue to grow. And to cling to what is good, I just love the imagery there. It's like holding on to good with everything we have, because Paul knows the moment we, open our fists from the good, we just, have an open hand to evil. And he says, be devoted to one another in brotherly love. And this is one of the most beautiful things that I have seen within our community is when people are going through hardship, others coming alongside to support them, be it bringing a meal or praying or helping out financially. And when you do that, when you are devoted to one another in love, it just increases belonging. If you're the giver or you're the receiver, both sides offer something beautiful, and when we're devoted to one another in love, we get to experience that belonging and better friendship. And then honor. Honor is not just seeing if a person is beneficial in your life. It's not just honoring their job title. No, it's assessing their value to God and treating them how God would want you to treat them. You're not focused on who someone isn't, but you're focused on who God says they are. And this is what that community should look like. These are the ingredients to experiencing that better friendship. But it all hinges on this last part. Do honoring people and loving people above yourself. And the reason is because if you're focused on self, as you're doing all these things, what are you going to get in return? Mainly yourself. But if you're focused on the other person, you are creating an opportunity for better connection. This doesn't say don't focus on yourself, don't care about yourself, let other people walk all over you. No, just create that space to honor and love them above yourself. And when I find myself in a difficult relationship, there's two things that I try to discipline myself to do, even when I'm not feeling it, but these are the things I discipline myself to do in order to honor people above myself. And the first thing is to pray. I pray not because I'm holy, but because I need it, because there's something going on in my heart that it needs to get fixed. And it's in prayer that allows me to take what I know God thinks about this other person and implant it into my own heart. And it's in prayers. I spend time in prayer that my thoughts and feelings align more with God's thoughts and feelings about the other person. And also in prayer, I find out that the other person isn't the only one doing wrong. It's oftentimes me, but it's only when I take that step back am I able to get to that place. And then the second thing I try to do is spend more time with that person. Because as I spend more time with that person, I just get to know why they're doing what they do more. I get to understand their role a little bit more, their passions. And I find as I spend more time with the people, my love then grows for them. And so step 3 to greater belonging is this. It's to give others more value. And some of my best friendships in life are only due to my friend or me giving the other more value because it created the opportunity for us to connect better, which we wouldn't have if we just focused on first impressions. So all that said, I'm sure some of us here are like, okay, Zach, I get that, but how does this look practically at Hope Church? How do we experience better friendship? Well, there's two main ways to experience better friendship at Hope Church, and the first one is serving. Serving is the place where we add our value to the church and to our local community. It's when we are serving that we are placed along others adding their value, that we experience great connection as we are in something together that's way bigger than ourselves. And I'm so thankful that we are part of a community where it's not 20% of people doing 80% of the work, because we know we're better together. We have over 650 people serving here at Hope Church on a regular basis, and countless more serving throughout the community at so many amazing organizations doing great work, like the Free Clinic, the Food Bank, the Bread Basket, and so many more. And so if you're here and you're like, I would like to add my value by serving, to experience greater friendship while doing something so much bigger than you can do on your own, sign up today. If you're joining us online, just click the link in the chat and it'll bring you up to our serving page. Or if you're here in the room, just scan the QR code in front of you or stop by the hub on your way out, and there'll be some friendly volunteers there who can get you plugged in today. And then the second place to experience better friendship here at Hope Church is in groups. These are groups that meet every week with the same group of people. This is the place where we just see friendships take off and faith grow. But I don't want you just to take it from me. I want to share a story of one couple that said yes to community and see how it changed their lives for the better.
I'm Kendall Beardsley.
And I'm Ben Beardsley. When we were attending Hope on Sundays, it was great. It's been refreshing for me. They would mention these groups pretty much every Sunday. They would welcome you or invite you to join a small group. And at first, thanks but no thanks kind of an attitude. And then it was, well, the reality is we've got the two girls, we've got demanding careers. I don't know if I can shake a Tuesday night.
I don't know, it was just one of those times in church where they're like talking about joining pathways, and Ben and I feel like we looked at each other at the same time. We're like, I think this is like, it's our time to do that. And so we took the leap, and like, obviously so grateful that we did.
Yeah.
I think as soon as we started and learned like what it was gonna be like, and like this is actually just people we're gonna like do life with. For me, it's really made me evaluate how I'm spending my time, what am I doing, and I'm reading the Bible more, praying more, and I don't know, I just feel like there's
I think that,
like a fire like ignited in a way.
I've noticed it out of you, spending more time in prayer, reading. My faith has grown with these smaller community groups by having a resource when things aren't going great in my life or in my family. And that's been the most rewarding, I think, is when people open up and share their wins, but then also their tough times.
Gosh, I think about like everything that I went through in last year of like looking for a different job and like kind of struggling with that, and like I got to share that and then share that journey with them on Tuesdays and have like a support system. So friends, support system, people that you get to walk with in life.
I think of it as a group of friends for sure, but then also a small group of individuals that have a common goal or a common mission, and that's really to just dig deeper into their faith.
You're with the people that, again, are just like encouraging you and like have that same like compass, I would say, of like, you know, what truly matters in life, and that are willing to like dedicate that time together. Like that just means a lot to me personally.
And I just love Ben and Kendall's story. I mean, even though they had a lot going on in their life, demanding careers, 2 wonderful kids, which we know just take a lot of time, they had reasons to say no, but they said yes, and it made a tremendous impact on their life. And we all have that opportunity here at Hope Church. Now, at Hope Church, we have a lot of different groups because I know we're all in different places in life. But the amazing thing is, in all these different groups, there is a common theme that we are seeing, and that is people experiencing greater connection. And this is what we're seeing. We did a survey in spring of 2022 of people and groups here at Hope Church, and this is what they found. First, they felt that overwhelmingly they could be honest and open about thoughts, feelings, and what they were going through. And I don't know where else in society we feel that we can just be our authentic self in community. Second, people made lasting friendships. I mean, if you're looking to make friendships as an adult, new friendships, groups is the place. And then lastly, people said that being in a group contributed to their spiritual growth. And as I was saying earlier, we're all in different places, and that's why we try to have so many different groups to meet you where you are at, to find your place of better friendship. And I want to highlight 3 groups quickly that are kicking off in the next 2 weeks. And the first one is this, it's Pathways. If you are new to Hope Church, or if you haven't done Pathways, this is your group. You'll be connected with other people who are new to Hope, learning about what makes Hope Hope. And as you are growing in your friendships, I guarantee you will find out right away if Hope is your church long-term or not. This group kicks off a week from Tuesday, and you can sign up for this group and the other groups that I'm mentioning the same way as I talked about serving. If you're here in the room, just scan the QR code. If you're watching online, click the link in the chat. Or again, for those in the room, you can just go to the hub, which is to the left of the main doors after service. So if you're new to Hope, Pathways is your group. And then the second group is a short-term group kicking off in 2 weeks called The Burden is Light. We're looking at this book by an author named John Tyson, who's out in New York. It's a fantastic book, and it looks at Jesus' promise that his way of life is easy and his burden is light. So if you're here and you feel like life is anything but light, this is your group, because it talks about how do we experience Jesus' easy way of life and experience a life of rest, a life of peace, a life of calling, a love of passion, and most importantly, a life of connection to God and to others. We have Monday options of this available. We have Tuesday options available. So if you're interested in that, if that is you, this is your group. And then the last group I want to highlight is our grief group called Surviving the Tide of Grief. I know there's some of us here who are like, wow, I can't even think about things getting better when I can't even get back to my old normal. And if that is you, this is your group. This is our 3rd time going through this group, and the early reviews have been amazing. It's been a place where people who've experienced great loss have been able to find a better normal in community with others. This group is kicking off a week from Tuesday, so if this is you, sign up today. Now, all that said, belonging begins with you. And as a church, we do our best to create environments for people to connect, but all it takes is just you saying yes. And I just want to encourage you. We know your value, we know your worth, and we would love for you to add it here. And all you have to do is say yes. Yes to serving, yes to groups, and that is where you'll experience that better friendship each and every one of us was created for. Let's pray. Jesus, we thank you so much for how you set up the church, that it is a place where we can just find better belonging and better friendship. And I thank you for all the places and spaces to experience that here. I just pray for anyone who's experiencing loneliness right now, that you just give them the strength to say yes to better community and to better friendship today. And I just pray that their experience is one of richness and beauty as they journey with you in these communities, Jesus. So we just love you, we cherish you, and we pray this all in your name. Amen.
Let's stand. Spend some time just keeping our focus on our incredible God who gives us our value. lost, but he brought me in. Oh, his love for me. Oh, his love for me. Who the sun sets free. Oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. Free at last, he has ransomed me. His grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. The sun sets free. Oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. The sun sets free. Oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. Father, thank you so much for creating us and loving us, for giving us so much value because of who you are. Thank you for this environment in which we get to spend some time focused on you and praising you. It's in Christ's name we continue to worship. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. Oh, all my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good.
worship in community like this today. And if there's anything you would like to be praying about with someone, we'll have a member of our prayer team just to the left of the stage ready to pray with you, or check out the link for prayer in the description if you are online today. We'll see you guys right back here next week to continue our series, Better. Have a phenomenal week.